Hi, Ms. Vale. I'm Cameron Jones. I have a few things I would like to know about your job here at Central Office.
Good morning, Cameron.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
So, Central Office is a very integral part of the school corporation, but not a lot of people seem to know what goes on here. What happens here?
I understand that, Cameron, that it may be a little unfamiliar about the work that happens here. This is really the heartbeat of the district. Our superintendent, Dr. Harold Olin, also kind of our CEO, works from here and really directs both the staff in this office and really what happens throughout the district. So in this office, aside from Dr. Olin, our business office is here. We have about 700 employees working for the school corporation, and we work with an annual total budget just over $54 million. And so all of the financial planning and work, paying people, paying for all of the accounts of things that we purchase for the school district, all of that comes from this office. In addition to that, all of the really record keeping for the school corporation, both employee records and student records, all are maintained here, organized here, kept up to date here. Our buildings and grounds and food service offices really work out of here, and so the organization for those departments happen here, as well as our technology director and our director of special education. So in addition to those offices all happening here and all the work that they do, as you might imagine, we take a lot of calls from community members, from parents, from businesses that we work with, and so taking care of and responding to those interest items all comes from this office as well.
So there are a lot of positions here, and I would like to know more about yours in particular.
Okay. As associate superintendent, my primary duties are around curriculum, instruction, assessment, and professional development for teachers. So that means everything from organizing and coordinating the selection of textbooks and materials that we use in our classrooms, kindergarten through 12th grade, taking care of assuring that all of the requirements by the Indiana Department of Education are met. So I do a lot of reports for the Department of Ed. All of those I-STEP and end-of-course assessment tests and I-Read 3 come through this office. So I take care of all of the assessment work for the district. And in addition to that, on a day-to-day basis, I certainly help teachers and principals resolve situations that come up and help them find solutions.
Awesome. Of course, any job comes with stress. How do you deal with the stresses of a workday?
I really try to balance my professional life and my personal life. So I think it's important to have other things that you do to kind of balance the demands of this type of a job. So I really like working out. I play a lot of tennis. I enjoy participating in activities in the community, and I also like to bake and cook.
Of course, any job can be tiring, but there's always an upside to it. What do you enjoy the most about working as an assistant superintendent?
I really enjoy helping others, and I really enjoy continuing to help make Greenfield Central a great place to learn and work. I also think that one thing about this job, every day is different. And so I really like not knowing exactly what's going to come my way on any given day. So the variety really makes things go quickly and keeps me really thinking about what's going on.
What other jobs did you work before this? What led you here?
Great question. I was an elementary teacher, 5th and 6th grade, for 18 years. and I loved that. I also, during that time, had the opportunity to teach high ability classes. That all happened in another district, and I loved teaching in the classroom. I also wanted to continue to challenge myself, and I really enjoyed working on curriculum and thinking about really the importance of sort of that continuum of learning from kindergarten to 12th grade. And so this type of work really interested me, and I think that it kind of gave me an opportunity to have a larger influence than just on one classroom. I could really impact a larger group of students and learners.
Well, that of course, well, you see the change every day. Our school continues to grow. What do you think makes Greenfield Central Schools unique from the rest?
I'd like to think that Greenfield Central really starts by building strong, caring relationships with students and families. And I think that when students and families know that you care, then I think that learning relationship can really start. So I think that's one unique thing. I think this school corporation has really built strong programs, both from the one that you're participating in doing this interview today. I love that radio and television opportunity. As you know, we have academies at the high school, and I think those are unique. And then I think that the programming we provide throughout the district in music, the arts, theater, the extra opportunities that we provide students beyond just reading and mathematics really make Greenfield Central unique.
That's true. This is a very advanced school district, but it will continue to grow. How would you like to see that growth?
Well, we would enjoy the opportunity to serve more students and their families. You know, we hope it comes at a very steady pace. And I think from a programming perspective, you know, just the fact that you each have a laptop that kind of guides your learning, that's your tool that you work from. All the changes in technology are going to continue, and they're going to continue to start at younger and younger ages for us. So that will be a continued growth place for us. And then I think just trying to find ways to be as effective as we can be for every student, so that every student can really maximize their potential, will be things that we'll work on in the future.
I've seen several students come through and enjoy all the different programs, but what would you say is your favorite?
Oh, I have to pick one. I don't know that I could pick one, but I sure love it when students get excited and really look forward to coming to school because of one of the different programs that we have. And the fact that we have so many, I think really gives a lot more students a chance to find something to be excited about. And I think that's what I like the most. Hopefully there's something for everyone.
We really appreciate you giving us your time and your answers about what goes on here at Central Office. Thank you so much for letting us come to your space.
I enjoyed this opportunity to talk about what makes Greenfield Central great.
Awesome. Thank you,
Thanks.
Ms. Bale. We came to the central office of Greenfield Central Schools to find out what goes on here. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Patty Hale.
And what do you do here, Miss Hale?
I'm the receptionist and the greeter for Greenfield Central Schools.
Okay, thank you. And hello, Ms. Vale.
Good morning again.
Do you think you could show us around the place?
I would be happy to walk through and give you a tour of the Administration Center.
Okay,
Let's
thank you.
stop here and you can meet Mrs. Einspar.
Hello, Ms. Einspar. What do you do here?
I am the assistant to the business manager.
Well, it's nice to meet you here.
Nice to meet you too.
All right, we're going to pass by the business manager's office. He is actually at a business manager's meeting in Fort Wayne. This room actually holds records of our employees. So that is a secure space that holds those records. And then we do have a small kitchen area back here Oftentimes our employees bring their lunch. We occasionally have pitch-ins, birthday dinners ourselves, but this is the kitchen area here in the back.
So what goes on in this area over here?
Well, let's take a stop in our accounting department and meet the ladies who take care of all things business.
Okay.
How about if we start? Oh, they're here together. All right. Okay, we've got an opportunity here. Let's let Mrs. Fisher introduce herself.
Hi, Ms. Fisher. What do you do here?
I am the corporation treasurer.
And she is actually working at the moment with another one of our employees. So let's meet Mrs. Slonaker.
Hi.
Hi, what do you do here?
I am accounts payable.
All right. So we've got one more person back here. Let's go meet. Okay. Okay, and let's get introduced to another member of our payroll team.
Hi, what's your name?
My name is Leah Bainter, and I'm payroll specialist.
And what does that mean?
Well, I actually am in charge of making sure everyone in the school corporation is paid.
That's a pretty important
yeah.
job.
So I should be their best friend.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I pulled this and I'm
So let's continue our. So let's continue our walk through down the hall to the more academic side of our offices. This area right behind you actually had been our school board meeting room. So until just about 4 months ago, the second Monday of each month, our school board would gather here and have their public meetings. You may realize that just at the beginning of 2017, we moved to the Greenfield Central Educational Service Center, which is right there at 700 North Broadway beside the high school. That building also houses our academy for high school students and our preschool. So now this space is used for meetings that we have, a variety of uses.
Okay, it's a lot more personal in this area.
Yes, the area was actually a little too small for most of our board meetings, and so that had to, it helped us that we could add that beautiful space that we have at the service center. I want to stop for just a minute and ask if he can glance at this picture here, because this is an actual photograph of the Riley School, which sat on this site. And as you might recall, the only part of it that remains now are those arches, and you walked through them as you came in the building this morning. But this property has actually been a part of Greenfield Central Community Schools since the late 1800s. And so it's a special site for us that we now use as our administration center. We're going to head down this hallway, and you'll see here our workroom. We have 2 copiers, a fax machine. This area stays very active with all the documents that we produce for the corporation. And then you have an opportunity to kind of work into our technology department. You can let Mr. Thompson introduce himself.
Hello, Mr. Thompson. What do you do here?
Hi, I'm Greg Thompson. I'm the tech director for Greenfield Central Schools. I oversee all the technology in the corporation and take care of anything that isn't working, or if it plugs in, pretty much we cover it. So
That is much appreciated, Mr. Thompson.
thank you.
Cameron, actually, the radio television is a part of that technology that he helps with. So he actually supported the work on the cameras and some of the new HD equipment that we have in studio.
Well, thank you, Mr. Thompson.
Thanks, guys.
We sometimes refer to this part of the building as the West Wing. You're probably too young to have remembered a television show named The West Wing that was actually about the White House. But this is kind of the West Wing of the Administration Center. So you might next stop at Mrs. Ross's office and let her introduce herself.
Hi, Ms. Ross. What do you do here?
Hello, I am Donita Ross. I am the assistant to the superintendent. So my responsibilities are working with the board and doing anything else that Dr. Olin wants me to do.
That's a very important job. Thank you.
Thanks. Next, we need to meet a very important person to me. And that's my assistant, who certainly helps me stay organized and keeps making our work look good. Good morning.
Hi, what's your name?
My name is Kathy Davison.
And what is your position here at Central Office?
Well, as Mrs. Vale said, I am her assistant. I've been with her about 7 years now. So I have some projects I'm responsible for. For example, right now I'm working on Celebrate Excellence for the June board meeting. And I field phone calls and answer questions for Mrs. Vale if I can. If I can't, I resort to her. But it's been a pleasure working here for the last 7 years.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. So Cameron, this hallway finishes off with our Director of Special Education's office, as well as our Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Christy Hilton. Both of them are away on business today, but I wanted to make sure that you knew that their offices were in this part of the building as well. We need to make one final stop.
So our last stop is Dr. Olin's office, of course.
Yes, and Dr. Olin is the superintendent of Greenfield Central Schools. So in his office, oftentimes he meets with both school corporation leaders as well as business leaders and community leaders. So he's at his desk. You can meet with him now.
That's a great place to learn. It's a great place to work as well. I've had 3 children go through the corporation, and I'm very proud of the experience we've been able to give them over the course of their education. I've got one that's graduated, one that will be graduating here in 2 weeks, and then a daughter at the junior high school. So I feel like they're getting a great experience here.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Olin. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. As we conclude our visit to Central Office, I would like to once again thank Mrs. Vale.
Cameron, thank you and your team who came to visit and find out what happens at Greenfield Central's Administration Center. And we certainly wish you well with the work that you're doing.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm here with Addison Rider, and she is a singer of the band Florida Fire. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. All right, so how did you all meet to form a band?
It's all kind of scattered, actually. I was in a band with our lead guitarist, Tyler, and we were in some other band called Tragic Paradise, and through that band I started getting really involved in the local music scene, and through that I met our drummer, who is Justin Whitlow, and he was like, oh, you should join my band. We should start our own band. So we kind of started doing that. We started looking for more members, and then we met our bassist, Jesse, and then eventually we needed a lead guitarist, so we brought Tyler in.
All right. You guys recently released an EP, Who We Ought to Be. Can you tell me a little about that?
Yeah, it's our first ever release, and it was really kind of quickly done. We just kind of wrote songs, and we were like, we like these songs. We need to get them out as soon as possible, even though it took forever. So, yeah, it was definitely an interesting experience trying to record something on our own and get it out to the public, but we're very proud to have it out.
But right after the EP, you guys went on tour, and that was like, did you guys book all that?
We did. I actually booked like every date on that show myself. Yeah.
All right, but how was the tour? Was it?
It was an interesting experience. I definitely miss it a lot. It's one of those things where it's very emotional because you don't really know what to expect. So I had really high expectations, and then I kind of got in the car with like 3 other dudes, and it wasn't really the same, like the exact thing I thought it would be. But I definitely miss it. It was definitely really fun, and it really brought us together.
What's the strangest thing that happened on tour?
We met some weird people. We slept on some really weird, sketchy floors in some people's houses. I broke a light bulb with my head, at a show once. We were playing a house show in Ohio, and the ceiling was super low, and I was jumping, and I shattered a light bulb with my skull, and everybody started freaking out. That was probably one of the weirdest things that happened.
What are some of the bands that you have played with?
Bigger bands, we've played with bands like I Prevail, Icon for Hire. We opened up for Austin Jones a little while ago. I Set to Kill, bands like that.
What are some of you guys' musical influences?
Well, when we first started, we were kind of like, oh, we want to be a female front and A Day to Remember. But it didn't really work out quite that way. But I would say like A Day to Remember and Beartooth and Flyleaf are probably a few of our influences, yeah.
Well, what are some of your influences?
My influences?
Yeah.
Flyleaf is a big influence on me because I listened to them since I was a kid. I like Paramore. I like A Day to Remember. Yeah.
So where did the name For the Fire actually come from?
It's actually kind of a funny story. For like 4 years before the Fire started, I was just totally obsessed with the idea of wanting to be in a band. And I had this whole list of band names that I liked. It just saved in my phone for like years. So we were trying to come up with a band name, and I looked through that, and I saw For the Fire, and I was like, oh, that's kind of catchy, but I have no idea where that came from. So it took me like 2 weeks, and I was like, how the heck are we going to use this as our band name if I don't even know what it's from? And it's actually from a lyric. There was this band in 2005 called Between the Trees, and they had a song called A Time for Yowie, which is about Renee Yowie, who helped start the To Write Love on Our Arms movement. And they have a lyric that says, we're still waiting for the fire, and I guess I listened to that, and I was like, that's really cool. I like that.
Right. What do you guys, or what was it like for you guys to see yourselves growing a bigger fan base?
It's definitely very refreshing. I tend to have some self-doubt when it comes to our music career, as most musicians do, so it's always really just refreshing to have a supportive fan base backing you up.
So with the release of the song If I Had a Chance to Burn You, we can only think there's a new EP gonna come out eventually. Can you tell me what that EP is gonna be like, or without really being too much, but
Yeah, we haven't announced really anything about it yet, but we're definitely trying to mature in our writing process as much as we possibly can. We are writing music that will hopefully blow all of our old music completely just out of the water, and I'm really excited about it. We have a lot of ideas we're working on that are just, I think they're awesome. So I'm really excited about that.
Are you guys aiming for a different sound with it, or?
We're trying to keep that classic For the Fire sound while also expanding as much as possible. So we're going to keep the sort of feel that our first song, Mistake, has, with that sort of alternative rock with breakdowns and stuff in it. So that's totally going to be a little bit of what that EP is going to be about.
Do you guys think your music spreads a message to people?
Yeah, well, from a lyrical perspective, I try to write about personal hope as much as possible. I know a lot of our fans are struggling with a bunch of different things, and so music is that one avenue where people can come together and just keep going despite all of that. And so I hope that our music delivers a sort of message of hope and perseverance to the people that listen to us.
What is your guys' songwriting process like?
It depends. With the EP, a lot of times I just wrote all the songs acoustically, and then I would send demos over to Tyler, and then he would sort of piece them together as a full band. Nowadays, it also goes either like that, or Tyler, he'll just come up with a full instrumental, and he'll send it my way and be like, write a melody. So, yeah.
Well, what's the recording for all that like?
The way that we've always gone about recording, Tyler is actually a producer. He is an aspiring producer, and so the best way for us to go for a while has always been through him. We released Who We Ought to Be through him and our single through him. But we definitely want to take our music to the next step, so in the future we will be recording with a professional studio, and hopefully it'll sound a lot better.
Odd question. Do you have an ego of an average vocalist?
I hope not.
Hope not.
I try not to. I try. I don't think so.
There's another fragile shadow and I'm lost in the waves. Please don't ever listen to what your voices have to say. You gotta run away. You're not a mistake.
So what do you guys hope for the future of Fortifier?
We definitely want to grow as much as possible. I would love to be able to call myself a successful touring and recording artist. We want to tour and see as many places as possible and just meet as many of our fans as we can while we can. Yeah, I hope that we can just accomplish this dream that music provides for us.
All right, and last but not least, what advice could you give to other local musicians that are trying to spread their music?
Obsess. You have to be crazy and perseverant and determined if you want to make it. I have spent so many nights like just staying up all night, just messaging different people and emailing different people. You have to really grind. So no matter what, you just can't give up, ever.
Just keep trying, basically.
Just keep going. Just keep grinding, and eventually you'll start seeing some profit.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.